Awesome, everybody. So this is a Brazil special edition, and it's a collab with my brother Yuri from Skipper Surf Review. Uh, Long story short, I'm a super fan of Yuri. I've been talking to him on and off for a while now. I think the first time we chatted was like a year or so ago when I was about to get my plasmic, my plasmid, and he was super helpful. And I think, but before I talk too much about you, I want you to give a chance to introduce people to you, your channel, and just talk a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for introduction, for actually inviting me to your channel and talk about boards and me. uh,
Absolutely.
so I'm Yuri, and I'm originally from Russia. My far ancestry were Western Mongolians, and so I travel around the world, haven't surfed at all. I mean, never even didn't even think about surfing. And In 2009, I came to US and just to see what's going on, and I really liked it, and I decided to stay.
I
um,
have a similar history in kind of different way, but please carry on.
yeah, I got a job, and like I was doing martial arts, skiing, kind of doing like a lot of workout, um, some training, running. Tried to qualify actually for New York City Marathon, and then with my friend in 2013, we took a trip to Hawaii. Just it was
For
just a
fun.
random trip. He's like, "Oh, the tickets, the cheapest place we can go now, like Hawaii for $500." I'm like, "Let's do it." So we planned a trip like within a month we're gonna do, and we went to Oahu, and then went to Kauai. So the surfing wasn't even in cards at all. So
Right.
we were just mostly hiking. Brought some custom drone with us. Everything was about hiking and things like that, stuff like that. So we went to Kauai first. Did some hiking for 3 days. I never hiked before, so I was dead like after 3 days. And then we were like, all right, let's just chill. Stop by some shop. It was actually surf shop, and then the lady say like, hey, what are you guys doing? And we would talk about Kauai. And then she's like, oh, maybe you should take a surf lesson. And then I'm like, surf? I can surf? He's like, yeah, like within an hour, I guarantee you're gonna surf. I'm like, 1 hour and I'm able to surf.
Did they
Yeah.
put you in a 12-footer?
No, that was I think a 9 for me. So we
Nice.
scheduled lessons, showed up at the beach. The guys saw us like, oh yeah, you were good. So he pushed me, and I got up straight up, and
Yeah.
then second wave straight up, straight to the beach. And he's like, okay, good guys, you're surfing now. Didn't even explain what we have to do, how to catch
Yeah,
waves.
yeah. Paddle. Oh, yeah.
Not much about etiquette, like because it was just empty, bro. And we were just by the pier on the north shore of Kauai, Ahanalei Bay. So,
Yes.
and then so he's like, oh, in 2 hours, just return the boards. And then I just like play around with whiteboard and then things. I kind of got hooked to it.
Yeah.
But I so every day we kept going to the beach. Like I forgot
Mhm.
about all hiking, all other things, just like surfing.
This is so
Then
much
when
fun.
then we went to Oahu. So I rented a board. We stayed for another 7 days, and I surfed every day, and that was fun. But I still didn't even think about surfing coming back to New York and do things. So I thought like maybe it's just gonna be there. So we came back to New York, and I just started doing again more martial arts, running, other
Yeah.
things. I forgot about surfing. So surfing, I left surfing in Hawaii, and that was in April. And then all of a sudden in July, one of my coworkers posted a picture on Instagram, and there was a surfboard. And I asked her, "Hey, what's going on with the surfboard?" And she's like, well, I'm in Belmar. There's a lot of surfers. And I asked you, they're surfing in Belmar in New Jersey? So I drove down the next weekend, and then I saw the surfers by the JDs. And then I went straight into the surf shop and, and bought my first surfboard, which was 7.6 NSP.
Oh, that's
And
not a bad choice at all.
I would say I think I should have probably gone maybe a little bit bigger. I mean,
I
because
will tell you my first one, and you're gonna laugh, but please carry on.
and so I got the 7.6, and then from there I started surfing, going every day to Rockaway, driving every day. Didn't even know about forecasting and all things, just thought like the waves will be always there.
Yeah,
So I go every day and it would be I guess officially skunk, but I didn't really care. I would just get into the water, like playing with some foam, and yeah, that was it. And then yeah, from there it took off. So
amazing, dude. And it's so funny. I love these stories because I mean I'm from Brazil, as you know, and there's a little bit of a overlap in our stories. I'll try to make my as short as possible, but like basically I started surfing at when I was 11 to 12. I live 60 miles from the shore, and I would only surf in the summer because we had a little beach house there. So I would stay there with my mom for like 2 months of school break, and that's when I would surf. So I started straight up. My first ever board was a 6'2" from like late 90s, a lot of rocker, like no instruction, no instructor, no nothing. This is like one of my friends figured it out, like it was like, here, figure it out, let's come with us. And I couldn't like, and it was a beach break, so I couldn't go past the breaks. So I remember holding to his leash and he paddled me outside like super kooky. And then like from then on, I was 11 and I surfed kind of in that situation like every 2 months, and then a weekend here and there for 2 months, and then a weekend here and there until I was like 17, 18. And then I moved to America and lived all over. And then the places I lived the longest was Chicago. I lived there for 8 years. And so I lived in Chicago until I was 30. And then from ages pretty much 20 to 30, I didn't surf at all.
so you
Then
didn't even try to surf in
I
Chicago?
would, no, dude, I was like, in my head, like cocky little shit, not little shit because I was an adult, but like dumb Brazilians, like, this is not an ocean. It was so cold to me that I couldn't understand how people did it, right? Because like I'm from Brazil, we only wear wetsuits in the winter, and it was 3 2s do it, and it's like I saw people doing it, and they had this huge longboards, and I never liked longboarding, and the waves were terrible in my opinion, and it was just like too much work for little reward. So I never bothered. I would go home every now and then. I'll grab a board, but it's like it was like once or twice.
Mhm.
So comes 2006, I moved to the Bay Area. 2016, I moved to the Bay Area and then lived there for 2 years. Didn't even consider going back to surfing. Then one day I was in Santa Cruz and I was like, you know what? Time to get back on that horse. And I always surf shortboards, right? Like, but haven't been surfing forever. And I went to Pleasure Point. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
it's a point break. It's only on borders. I got myself an epoxy 510. Went there, didn't catch shit, just ate shit. Was totally out of paddle fitness. Longboarders were, ripping me. It's like I was like, okay, this was a mistake, but I got the wetsuit. At least I bought a wetsuit, so I'm still invested. And then it all changed when I bought this board, which was like this is a 6'4" modern surfboard Falcon. This is a 22 and a half wide, I think it's three for thickness. And dude, it's 48 liters. And then I caught my first good wave. I was like, I still got this. And it was all downhill from there. And you see my quiver now. But yeah, so I've been back on the horse for like 4 or 5 years now, and it's been a slow progression. And since I moved to this North San Diego County where I am now, it's been a catalyst. So it's been like more boards, more water time, and so on.
Yeah, I bet it's probably very consistent now in in terms of surfing, because you get like all direct swell from all directions, and I mean the
Yeah,
pleasure
it's
point is consistent too, but I think in terms of like choosing the spots, and you get the beach break probably in close distance, and everything is much closer now, right?
yeah. Pleasure Point was awesome, but it was always super crowded, and it was like mostly only right, which I love, which is like I'm regular footed, so it was like I love that. But here it's more consistent. There's more wave options, and like within 20 minutes, I can drive to Encinitas or I can drive to the lowers and for a little more. So it's super cool. I love it. And but dude, like you are a huge influence for me because I remember when you first convinced me to get the plasmid, this one right here.
Mhm.
And this is a 728 sim. And dude, like I want to start talking with you about like and what I'm gonna make is gonna be controversial and a kind of a general statement. But I think Album Surfboards, they're making they're making boards for the super high-end surfer, but for the intermediate surfer, from all my experience writing different brands, they are making the best intermediate surfboard. And it fascinates me. And I know you've been through a lot of models, and I would love to hear like how do you feel about the brand at all, and if you think that this statement is kind of is that too much exaggeration. Obviously, there are other brands who are doing amazing work, but just your overall involvement with it.
Uh, well, I think I should tell about my first experience with Album because honestly, I never heard about Album
Yeah.
when I started surfing, and I didn't even hear or it was. I think until my friend got first Album boards, Anis, his name is Anis, and he
Hmm.
got Album Thompson. So
Nice.
that was asymmetrical for goofy footer.
I'm
I never
familiar.
tried it. So he got the in green color, and then that was about maybe I would say 2 maybe 3 years ago.
What
Uh,
size was it again?
I think he got 6'8" or some six
Oh, that's
six.
a good. That's an awesome size. Yeah.
I think yeah. But he was in intermediate beginner stage, and so he got that board, and I was like, what's this board? He's like, it's an album. Like I'm like album, and then I started checking album website. Like, all right, it's fine. And then my other friend Gary, he started to send me messages. It's like, oh, they got this board, they got this one, and they all like kind of look nice. And then I was like, I never purchased board online.
Right.
No, I never purchased. So and for me, it was something is different than I usually go to the shop and then talk and fondle the board and see how it feels. Mostly were Firewires, Lost, or other brands. And and then one time they had this Plasmid 7.2, and then like, all right, I think I'm gonna buy it. And then I bought it. So, and after that, it just took off because I wanted to get actually Plasmic, and I like the name. I think I
The
like
name is sick.
the
Yeah.
name, yeah. And I feel like I get the Plasmic, and I'll be very fast on this board, and I feel like it's something like related to universe. I don't know, like something with
There's
cosmic,
a magic. There's a magic there.
something with the magic. And then they didn't have the one I wanted, like in short size.
Yeah.
So they had Plasmid, a big one with a diamond tail. So I pulled the trigger and I ordered. So they came, and when I opened up the box, I grabbed the rails, and they were like really boxy and chunky.
Do
I'm
you
like,
remember what was the width of that? How not the width, the thickness of it? Do you remember roughly?
272 or 275.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, it was almost three inches thick.
Hmm.
So I'm like, my wife was filming, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I will be able to actually turn this board or do something. Because when you have this chunky
Much
rail,
rail. Yeah.
you start to realize this board is not going to turn well. I mean, it's sort of like a longboard. Maybe I'll just go down the line, and everything changed. As soon as I got out, and the board was just like going up and down line. Felt like I can do surf as a shortboard. It was so responsive, and after that, it just wow.
Took off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a similar experience, and it's incredible. I mean, I think the main difference between us, I think we're about the same height. I'm 5'8", and but I'm 200 pounds, 204 last time I checked.
Mhm.
So it's funny because 2.75 for me, it's a good amount of rail. But when I got my plasmic, It was the same, similar to you. I think I saw your review on the 7.2, and I saw mine from the used section. I think mine used to be Matt's even. And I just saw like it was crazy because it was like this one, the width is 20.75 and
Mhm,
the thickness is only 2.5, which
mhm,
for me it's not, it's like a pretty slightly narrow board and long, and it's an ASIM. And I was like, fuck, ASIM, this is like a huge gamble for me.
mhm.
But it was the only one because it was used. It was like the price was really good. I think it was like $800. And I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. And this was right after you posted your review of yours, and we talked about
Mhm.
it. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
if
I
you
remember.
remember.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Told
I
you
was
go
like,
for it.
and dude, I remember my first wave with it. It was incredible because I was paddling out with it, and first of all, I could duck dive, which I was like shocked because I
Mhm,
had boards that were like way smaller and I couldn't duck dive for the life of me. I was like,
mhm,
wow, this is amazing. And then I got my first wave, and it was a small day. It was like maybe 2 to 3 foot, and it was so maneuverable, and I could like put it on each side, and on the back side it was so much easier because of the ASIM. And I feel like the plasmic, when you first paddle into the wave, you almost, because of the channel, I assume it's because of the channel, just because of that extra like
lift
lift.
oil. Mhm,
Oh my god, that's the greatest feeling in the world. And
yeah.
after that I was like, what is it? And
Mhm.
then like I end up getting a darkness later that I just sold. You remember that one? Which I loved it too, but I was always like, when it comes to between the two, it was a 610, and it would overlap a lot with my plasmic. I would always grab the plasmic, so I end up selling it. And now I have my 6.2 ASIM plasmic that's coming up with dark cards. I think I'm getting them in December. And then I have the foamy here. This is actually my girlfriend's board. I just bought it for her. And I just bought the twin fish, as you've seen the the
Yep.
photos. I'm actually gonna pick it up today right after this.
Nice, nice.
So
From
yeah,
us directly?
yeah, I'm gonna drive there. Hopefully it won't be too bad. It should be, I just checked Waze right before our chat here. It's supposed to be 35 minutes.
Mhm.
So yeah, dude. And it's like it's and so you're riding the sunstone, right? Or the moonstone.
Oh, now on the Moonstone. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
And the moonstone has the channel too, right? But it's a different channel. Is that correct?
uh, it doesn't have a double barrel channel. It has a kind of more like a single to slightly double spiral, something V or whatever. I think we talked
Yes.
about that, and it's not too aggressive,
Right.
like on the plasmid. So plasmid will have a better lift, like in general,
Right.
um, but the difference between Moonstone and plasmid is the Moonstone goes rail to rail much easier, and it's more dynamic and way
Interesting.
more like a shortboard than a Mid-Lenght. So
Yeah.
plasmid does have more like a kind of Mid-Lenght vibe, like
Yeah.
more like a down the line. You do the turn because it's a twin
Right.
fin, much easier and a lot of freedom. But the Moonstone really wants to put it on a rail, push it harder, and it just like go fast.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that to me because for me, I think it's a lot of it is because of the width and how, it's not thick board. The thickness is very like medium. To me, my plasmic is one of my, I can flip it as much as I want rail to rail. To me, it's very dynamic.
Mhm,
It's way more dynamic than like I have this 6.8 fish. This is 22.
mhm,
Uh, and this is a 3. This is like a grappler. It's very, as you can see, it's a very straight rocker. The
mhm.
plasmic to me is like sort of like a shortboard, but I think a lot of it is because I think it's narrow. And I, on this topic, I wanted to ask you this because the channel thing is fascinating me. And I've been writing lately a lot of my Love Machine FM. Been I've been my last 4 sessions. I wrote this board, including today. One of the reasons I couldn't do it in the morning. Sorry. But obviously the channel is a little different. But I feel that lift too,
Mhm,
and I feel the insane drive. And I was wondering, I was making like sessions that I thought I was gonna get caught by the lip and it was going to be a closeout, but I was making them. And it's very interesting. It's different, very different than the plasmic. I still prefer the plasmic, I believe, but it serves to be, it's a 6.9 and it's varial. So it's different. My plasmic is a PU. But it serves a lot like a shortboard too.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I love riding keels, and I know they are not recommended for any of these boards. I know they don't recommend. The Matt always, whenever I DM him, and it's like, I really recommend uprights. We recommend uprights, but I just love the keels, and to me, I don't have a problem turning them. So what's your opinion with the channel and the drive and those two models? Like, I know you have an FM as well. How do you see them comparing?
Honestly, like the bottom concaves and all that stuff, I feel like it's you have to like have a maybe good wave, like a really good
Mhm.
wave to see the real difference and feel it, like what's happening with the channel. And you know, like if it's like a double barrel channel or is like a 6 channels, you know, those ones that they do. I mean, I never actually surfed those.
I
Uh,
know, I'm so curious to grab one too.
but I think plasmid definitely stands. You can really feel that stickiness, like hugging the face of the wave, uh,
Mhm.
to to really hold it on the top of the wave. That's what I've noticed. Like with the plasmid, it's even if it's a steep, it's not dropping down like
No,
that fast.
right.
Versus other boards that I had before. That I think if you really want to, if you struggle in the steeper waves with the drops, the plasma definitely will solve those issues. Comparing to the Moonstone doesn't have that. I do feel that difference, and the Moonstone definitely wants to go like down like quicker and then just
Bottom
shoot.
turn. Yeah.
Yeah, not necessarily just like a straight down,
Down
like
the line,
down the line
like
straight.
paddle in an angle and just straight on the line. Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. But if it's already a late drop, it doesn't make it to the bottom of the wave. Still not too much rocker, still kind of mellow rocker, not the crazy one. I do make it to work, but not always. But it does
Yeah,
handle
for
good waves. It does handle good waves. But that's a kind of what I noticed. What those channels kind of help, and down the line too. So,
right.
but I think at some point the plasmin since it has those channel, the double barrel channel, I feel like that restricts a little bit to go like to the pocket faster and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's very interesting to hear that because when I had the darkness, my 610 darkness, uh, obviously didn't have a channel. And
Mhm.
I loved the glide into the wave, but I missed the lift. I
Mhm.
missed like it was speedy and it had that wing, that single wing to the round pin. And it was nice because I could feel it breaking and turning, and it
Mhm.
was maneuverable for a 610, but I missed the lift. And because when I get the lift, I pump right after it, and then you get so much speed, right?
Mhm.
And like the darkness was more like a linear speed. It accelerated fast and it turned good, but it's just personal preference. There's nothing wrong with them. I love them both. I wish I still had the darkness in a way because the problem is worth too much money, so I needed to get different boards. So and it was pretty much new, but yeah, it's interesting. And you have a lot of experience too with the Twinsman, right? Which is basically a more high performance version of the Plasmic, like obviously slightly different, no channel. And how how was your experience riding the two?
So the Twinsman I had in size 6'1", so it was
Hmm.
a barrel foam. Great experience. Honestly, I sold it, but I'm missing it. And then I actually texted the guy, if he wants to sell it back. He's still thinking. So he's like, I'm not really sure, but I'll let you know. So if he will
Seems
sell
like
it,
you regret. Seems like you regret selling all your album boards.
I
Like
do.
every time.
I regret selling my Plasmic 5.5.
Yeah.
Which was really good. And when it's 3 foot plus, 3 to 5 plus waves, it was great. But you know, other boards like took over time, and you get
Yeah. You want the
sometimes
new thing. Yeah.
something new. And but I wish I had more space to keep all of them. Um,
Right.
and you know, I had agreement with my wife, you know, one in, one out. So we kind of settled to the maximum quantity of the boards I can have.
Yeah.
So I had to shuffle around. But the Twinsman was amazing board. Honestly, I feel like, you know, 2 foot plus with the 2 foot waves with the punch, it's still going. Personally, wouldn't go in smaller. Matt says, hey, you should go a little smaller, like to get the best.
I like the big ones too. Yeah.
To me, I'm not the guy. I'm not like a pro surfer. I'm not even semi-pro. I'm not even a competitive
Right.
surfer in terms of like whipping around and do like crazy, like,
Vertical. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not going vertical. So for me, it's more like a recreational surfing, and I like to do those roundhouses on the Twinsman,
Yeah.
and you know, that projection down the line, a lot of speed. And what I think I've noticed more, it's the fastest shortboard I ever had to paddle. Like it was paddling very fast.
Interesting.
Yeah, especially
And
only in barrel foam. I tried the same 6-0
NPU.
in PU. It's a night a day. You have the swallow tail. Mine had round pin. With the swallow, you do have like a more options to go to pivot faster, but you kind of losing on the other side in terms of catching waves, in terms of
Right.
the wave size too. I think
Yeah.
the barrel foam does help you to cover more conditions.
Interesting. And the one thing I was going to ask you about the Twinsman, did you ever find, because it's designed from what I've been studying and watching all the reviews,
Mhm.
it seems like it was designed a little more for high performance surfing. Did you find it at any moment that it was too loose, and what things were you using with that?
I think I liked what did I like? I think I liked Loveless Kills, I believe.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I tried with a Kill IPA, was kind of loose, but I think on the bigger days I like the Kills.
Right.
And when it's a little smaller, I would put a Kill IPA, and I would have blast. So
Yeah.
yeah, I did have. I mean, I mean, when I was doing a review with Matt, and you know, I was surfing smaller waves, and when it was clean, it just, I think the barrel foam does help a lot to get that sparky feel, like, and just fast
I'm
acceleration.
loving mine. Yeah.
Mhm. So yeah, it's great board. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. It's going to be interesting for me because this one use that I got, I'm not sure if it was Matt's because it has a trackpad on the tail, but
Mhm.
it's a 5 fin box configuration. And I noticed that even if I wanted to use as a twin, the fins are positioned differently than the regular Twinsman, right? They're slightly upper, and
Mhm.
then the trailer quads are like not in the same place either. So I think I would probably either go quad or thruster, but most likely quad.
Mhm.
And I have a modern keel set from Futures that I may just throw it in and just see how it goes. But
Did you
if Matt, sorry,
did you get it used?
I got to use, yeah, it was on the website. I think I sent you the screenshot. It's that 6.5, it was like a teal color, a little darker than this,
Mhm.
blue. And it was just sitting there forever, and I'm just watching it. I'm just watching, like, should I? And it was like, because I was thinking about like, well, I don't have a 6.5, and I love the spec. It's 21.8 width and 2.8 thickness, which is perfect for me. But it's PU, and when I went, so I have this is my Seaside, and it's 6.0, and it's almost 23 inches wide. Dude, I couldn't get along with that board, and I missed the length. I don't
Mhm.
mind. I don't mind being narrow. I just miss the length, and I guess that's what I like. And we were talking about like how you like to turn and curving. I'm mostly a snowboarder. I became a snowboarder. That was like, like if a surfer, I'm a level 4 to 6, 4 at my worst, 6 at my best. A snowboarder, like I used to teach, I have a lot more experience. I used to review snowboards with
Mhm.
my previous job. So when I surf, I in the best way I can. It's almost like riding a powder day in the snowboard sometimes, or if I push it down the line, it's just like a speedy on my edge. So I feel like mid lanes are perfect for that. And it's very achievable, right? It's like you don't need to be calculator to do those things. And it's
Yeah.
just getting so much speed down the line. It's incredible. And I think it's partially why I like the heel so much. Because the
Mhm.
drive is insane.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, depends on the set of fins. For the kills, there's some semi kills there. This new BMT twin just came out,
Yeah.
which I actually like. I put them into my old boards pretty much now. But they do have a little bit of resistance, and sometimes it feels like it's too much fin. So I think it depends on the conditions in general.
Of course. And it's
Power the
personal taste
waves.
too.
And I think on the waves they surf on the East Coast, they usually lack of power, and then those fins that I use here might not work well with the same pretty much board on the West Coast. And it's kind of it's I think it's just everyone should play around and find their own. I mean,
What works for them.
even the guys who I serve with, they love this set, and for me, it doesn't work for me as well. So I feel it depends on, some people like it too loose. I like sometimes loose feels, but it depends on the conditions. When it's a little smaller, I do like when it's loose and I can throw the tail. But when it's bigger, I definitely need that hold. I don't want to risk it because the waves don't come here often. So I want to maximize my session. I cannot screw up the wave. So I want to really hold that tail to do the
Yes.
turn, the comeback and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I totally relate. And a lot of the waves I ride here are mushy too. I don't go to the gnarly points. Like the main breaks I surf is one called Tamarack and the other is called Terramar. And Tamarack is right by a jetty, and it's a beach break, but it has sometimes like mushy waves. And then Terramar is a straight up point break, right? It's like a mix of rock and bottom, rock and sand at the bottom, but it's interesting. But just really quick before we switch from keel side, I want to show you the one I'm in love with lately, which I've been using with my FM, which is, I know you're not supposed to. Oops. It's the Rasta from Futures. I don't know if you can see it there. And I use it with the side bites. And this has, of all the keels I have, and I have a few, this one has been my favorite. And mostly because the tips are a little softer and you just accelerate through the turns. And I would love for you to try it. I would love for you to try it. If you like keels, the Rasta keels are super fun.
Should try it. Hold on just a second. Let me, someone
Yeah,
hold on.
go for it.
Sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry. I totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Rasta, should try it.
have you heard about it? Like, have you ever considered getting one?
Not really. I mean, I'm not person who really believe a lot into the fins.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I think in general, I feel like if the fins do help definitely
Right.
to get aboard. But in most cases, I think that I serve the very shitty ways most of the time that I don't want to invest a lot of money into different fins and then play around. I feel like the fins, it's up to the operator in most cases. Like you
Yes.
can pick the work with any fins and then progress. And only on the good days, I would probably be interested to try different fins, switch them out. I do reviews, but I think the way the fins I have now, I think they're kind of more generic, and something else it would be a little bit, maybe difference, maybe 5-10% max. That I probably won't even feel it.
It's very interesting to talk about that because I think, yes, 100%, the rider makes all the difference, right? Like, and if you're a good rider, which is not my case, you can ride anything. You can ride Finland, which some may. but I think it's, to me, it's a comfort thing. Like I try, for example, I ride a lot of twin fins, and when I try the uprights MR style, I always find too loose.
Mhm.
And I think I'm more back footed, I'm heavier, and I just feel safety with the keels. So it's personal taste. I want to dabble more with uprights, and I think the times I use them, I maybe didn't use in the best situation for them.
Mhm.
But yeah, I agree with you. The rider makes all the difference. So one other question I have for you, it would be, so what's your album quiver right now that you own, that you have in your garage?
It's not big. As I say, I like to shuffle around the boards. So I only have uh so I have actually two boards. So I have Album Moonstone and I have
Yeah.
Album Disorder.
Which
And
one is the second one? Sorry, you cut off.
Disorder,
Oh, Disorder. Yes.
yeah, yeah. And these two boards, I mean, I feel like can't say like they're probably the best ones. I mean, to me,
Of
they cover
course.
pretty much all the conditions here. I didn't get to the point that I already oversurfed these boards yet,
Right.
but maybe I'll get to that point soon, and then I need something else, but not right now. I think it's because
You're gonna
Giselle.
regret it.
I think the reason why is because I got that disorder that I reviewed not a long time ago. It was one-off shape from Matt, and it was very unique because it was 21 inches wide and 2.63, I think, inches thick. So it's got a
That's
good
nice.
volume, yeah, and it kind of feels like a mini Siemens, like a mesh between mini Siemens and the regular
Really?
disorder that they have. So it's not like a very high performance disorder that they have on the website, very kind of narrow, the one that Victor Bernardo is surfing, or like
Yeah.
kind of Bomgia model.
Dude, I've been dying to serve the Bongia one because it looks fun.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, when they were here, I fondled the Bomgia, and then it was like a 5.9 by 19 and a half. I forgot the thickness, but it did feel like I can serve that board. I think I can
Yeah.
really whip it, but I didn't try it. I should have when we surfed together. But the waves were kind of small. I wasn't really inspired. I was on my Moonstone. But going back to Disorder, I think it's because he put together this kind of a mini Siemens shape into one Disorder. It made it to work for a lot of conditions. I mean,
Right.
wide range conditions, so you can surf smaller days, bigger days, all together. And that's why I really love it, because I can take it anytime I want, and then it's still going and paddling easier into the waves, because it's
But
especially if it's a fat wave or if it's a small one, that mini Siemens bottom part, like a kind of design, helps to propel easier. So
right.
it was narrower and not as thick, and it would be more performance disorder. I don't think I would be so much into it. So it would be sitting in the corner and waiting for those days when we have 3-foot day plus.
Yeah.
But now I can surf it on most conditions pretty much here. So you should get one.
Dude, as you're talking, I'm like, fuck, maybe I should. But like, it's funny because I saw the Disorder so many times, and my fear has always been that it's too high performance. It's my same fear that I have with the Twins, man, which I end up just getting one. But what happened with the Twins, man, is like I saw one that is the width that I like, the thickness that I like, and it's 6'5".
Mhm.
And it's the same thing for the Disorder and the Bongia. It's like, after my trauma with the Seaside, I kind of like, I really don't want to go below the 6.0. And also, I have my Dark Horse Plasmic coming, a sim, right? It's coming probably the next month or so.
Mhm.
So once that comes, it's gonna be hard to get out of it.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. I think you will go crazy when you have to go to surf trestles.
Yeah, see, I don't like going to CrossFit because it's too
You know,
crowded. It's
uh,
too crowded. It's just like, I mean, it's amazing,
why
but
don't
it's
you
like,
take Why don't you take the plasmid with you, like what Matt does? He goes with the plasmid and takes all the
See,
way.
Matt lives way closer to Trestles. He's in San Clemente. Like for me, it's a hike, and I don't have a hitch for the e-bike. I don't have like the setup to get there.
Mhm.
But let's do this. When you come, we'll go to Trestles together.
Of course, yeah. I
Yeah,
think if I come, I'll bring my Moonstone maybe and disorder. I think
yeah.
that's two boards
Listen,
I will probably travel with.
if you don't want to carry anything, feel free to grab any of mine. But so the other thing I'm always curious, like how far are you from Rockaway? Because Rockaway is in Queens, right? Is that correct?
Means, yep.
Yeah. And are you like too far from there? Like if you have to drive in the morning?
So if I do dawn patrol, it takes me 15, 20 minutes to get
Oh,
there.
that's really good. Yeah.
But I used to live there like 2 months ago. So we moved to
Ah,
Brooklyn. Yeah,
no.
I live 2 blocks away from the beach and could just walk over and then surf.
Are you sad that you moved?
Yes and no. I think I'm happy because I don't have to drive to daycare every day. And
Priorities, yeah.
it was taking like a 30, 40 minutes drive every day, each way. And then but I'm not really surfing less, that's for sure.
Right.
And I should start working out more because we have a gym in my building, so I'm gonna sign up soon. Because I was waiting until it gets cooler and cooler,
Oh,
so I don't
yeah.
have. So
I,
yeah.
do you have a garage for your board now?
No, don't have a storage in my apartment. I mean, we do have a storage in this building. I don't want to use it. I have to pay extra, like I think 75 or $100. I'm not really sure.
Oh, it's hard. Yeah.
But I have a surf house in Rockaway that
Oh, yes.
I share with my friends, and so I can keep two boards in the house and you know hang out there. You put my wetsuits and everything, so it's very convenient. It's right by the beach, so when I
Totally.
get there, when it's cold, I can change inside, take a shower.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I
Yes.
don't need to have a storage, pay extra here in the building. So uh, I'm gonna put the rack here on the wall to keep my board, and I hide some boards in the room where we have wash and dryer. So I found
Nice.
3 boards can fit in there. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky because we have a garage that is just like a place where the cats sleep
Uh-huh.
and also my board storage and Christmas stuff. But all right, dude, I promise I would not take too much of your time. It's almost an hour. I would love to talk more at some other time, but I want to ask you one last question. And this is going to be a really hard one because I think that to myself and it always changes. But today, the Yuri of today, if you have to recommend a board for you, Yuri, and it's like for your level of surfing, and you're going to make a custom, and it's an album custom, right?
Mhm.
What size, what model, what dimensions, and you can only pick one, and it's going to bother you're going to have to take it everywhere.
And I will. So and then that will be for the rest of my life. Like I mean, or just I can
I
change.
mean, make believe rest of your life. Make believe rest of your life.
That's a very tough one.
I know.
I think to cover everything and to be able to surf everywhere, any conditions, I would say, I think the reference point would be with the plasmid, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what size would you go? What construction?
So the one I had a 7.2 by 2.75. Hold on, 20. I think it was a 20.78 by 2.73 or 72.
Yeah, very
Uh,
similar to mine. It's just a little thicker. Yeah.
yeah, I think I would go definitely smaller. I would probably keep it around 7.0
Okay.
because the 7.2 was still like turning well. So 7.0 would still have that length. So I can surf like a very smaller waves and then he's still getting in. Because
Yeah.
if I go 6.8, it might be a little bit too short sometimes to go for on the smaller days. So
Yeah.
7.0 by 20.5 inches wide, and then I would say 5 was 2.6 thick. I
Yeah.
would still keep the thickness and diamond tap. Diamond tail.
Diamond tail and regular, not ASIM.
I could do ASIM, but I like to go now switch, so I would probably go regular. Like just
Oh, that makes sense. And would you make it PU or Vario or dark art?
I would do PU, I think.
You do PU.
I would
It's
do
forever,
PU.
man. It's gonna get.
Oh, because I never tried PU. I mean, Varel, the bigger one, Varel. I don't know how it
Yeah,
would feel. Maybe Varel. If I would try one Varel, I would probably go with Varel. But I think for now, I would keep it in PU. So
nice. No, I mean, this is my first Vario board, and I got it stock, right? I got the 6.9 FM stock,
mhm.
and I think I saw Matt talking to you in one of your many interviews with him. That like after a month, it's amazing. I only have 4 sessions in, but I'm just waiting for that month. What's gonna happen? Because so far, it's been like so much fun. And you
Mhm.
know what I find interesting? I don't know if you agree with this with the Vario, but it's like, yeah, it's obviously not a PU, but the way it rides, I think it paddles a lot like an epoxy board, but it rides closer to the PU than to epoxy, the way it rides.
Yeah.
Is that a similar assumption from you as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the best combo out
Right?
of all these constructions. You know, just I when it's a windy day,
Go
I'm not
PU.
PS,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
PU, but you can still take Varel and it's gonna feel as same as a PU, and it will still have that lift, you know,
Yeah.
to go much
Of
easier,
course.
waves. So yeah, definitely Varel. I wish I could try maybe the bigger boards in Varel, because I don't know, like if it might be too much. I feel like maybe it will chatter. I kind of have that fear that it will chatter
Yeah.
when it's a bit windy and choppy. So the PU does help me to go through all those conditions. So, but yeah, definitely plasmid. Not a moonstone. Moonstone. It's a really fun one. I did review with Matt, and I'm
Yes.
maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. I'm not really sure. But if I would have a choice to go for the custom, I think I would go back to plasmid. So, yeah.
Nice. No, dude, and it's like the one thing that I'm curious about. I've never seen, and I'm sure it exists, but I never seen a mid-length built in dark art.
Mhm.
So I'm just really curious. I mean, mine is a 6.2. It's not a mid-length. It's like a hybrid, like groveler, I guess you could say. For me, it's a short board, right? But if I'm sure I'm gonna love it. But next year for my birthday, if I like this one, I'm probably gonna make a custom dark art mid-length, and I'm thinking about either 6.8 or 6.9, something like that.
Mhm.
Because I haven't seen anyone using it. I see a lot of short boards, and I'm like, why? So maybe we should ask Matt next time you talk to him.
Yeah. I forgot to ask him because I was never interested in dark arts. So I'll
Why
definitely.
not?
I don't know. I feel like it's black, and then also when you have a black color, it
Yeah,
attracts the sun and it gets too hot. So I
right.
think one of the reasons that I didn't want to get it.
That was the issue with my darkness too that I didn't like. But I ordered mine with the top sheet. I'm talking like if it was a snowboard, but with the top color is white.
Mhm.
So I ordered with the top is gonna be white. It's gonna be like this matte white color,
Mhm.
and then the bottom is gonna be black. But because you can't, like they don't make it like, at least from my knowledge, they don't make it like white. But I asked for the top to be white.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Maybe you have to try mine.
I know Ron, the board porn, my friend.
Yes,
He got what they called disaster in black.
dark arts,
Barrel, I think barrel,
Vario.
barrel,
This,
and he was surfing in Puerto Rico, and it was 90 degrees. The wax was melting because it's a dark color.
yes,
It's in black color, and then very
yeah.
dark, and so it was melting. So after that, I definitely not gonna go over the
My
with the
my
cards.
darkness is the same issue, but mine was PU.
You
Uh, but yeah, but think about it. You can make it white. You can make it
okay?
white.
All
So
right.
so so just But I know you don't like customs. I know you don't like customs, but uh, think about that. You can make the top white, and that way it probably would be a little better.
But
But
if you drive on the roof, like it might get really hot sun. You have to put in a sock or board back
see, I take all my boards inside.
inside.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't like to put mine in the roof. I always put them inside the car because that's just how I roll. I have all my seats down. I don't have kids, right? So I only have a dog. So I
Mhm.
live the dog one, and then I can fit like up to like a my 7-Eleven here fits there no problem. And I don't have a crazy car. It's a CX-9, a Mazda CX-9, so it's no problem.
Wow.
All right, dude, thank you so much. This is such a pleasure. I'm sure we could go easily for 2 or 3 hours, but I
Oh
know
my
you're
God, we
busy.
can. Yeah,
I
we
know
can go on. It's
I know you're a busy man. I'll send you the file later for the video. Feel free to do whatever you want with it. And uh let's talk. Let's keep sharing experiences. I love collaborating because I feel like we talk to a lot of people, and there's a lot of people in our level that want more feedback. They want people who tried all the boards, all the construction. So I think you're in a right path, and I love your channel. I'm a huge fan. So congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely something that over years I noticed that a lot of people DM me and ask me about the boards that they kind of consider to buy, and they try to compare what works for them, what uh, they want to buy in the next
Yeah.
run. But and it's for me, it's sometimes
First,
really hard
yeah.
um, hard to suggest something because a lot of times some people they don't have access to album surfboards, or they
Other
it's out
boards.
of their range, the budget too. So I'm trying to find something good for them that will work, and a lot of times it's all about experience, about what they can do. So I ask them, hey, what's the level, what's the height, and what do
What's your
you,
size? Yeah.
yeah, the weight. So that definitely helps to make a decision, because I feel like a lot of times people rush it to get on a shore board, and I try to help them to not go that fast.
Guilty. Guilty. Dude, like I think I've like learned my lessons at this point. I like, as you can see, I have from everything from 6.0 to 7-Eleven. So I think I'm probably like, my sweet spot is between like 6.2 to 7.2. That's
Mhm.
probably where I'm staying.
But after surfing all these mid lengths, all of these boards that I, had in the past and have now, I came to a conclusion that um, when to serve the mid length and when to serve my short board, like a graveler, like 5'4", 5'2". I notice when it's very small, like legitimately small, like 1 foot, and I want to do the turns, I do go on the 5'4". I don't have
You can still
fun.
catch waves with a 5.4 on a
Yeah,
1 foot
if
day.
it's a white, the one I have, Davis Sky Skiff. It's a full-on
Right.
graveler. It does project and glides really easy. Like the mini Siemens I had from Hydrodynamica, it makes waves much fun because
Ah,
it's so short and it just whips and turns quicker to the pocket. If I feel like I want to do those turns and do floaters, etc., what I when I take the mid length is now these days, when I feel like it's gonna be very packed, it's gonna be good or bigger size waves, and or if it's a little bit 3 foot plus and I still want to do turns. So that's when the mean length kind of vibe kicks in. I mean, like takes over my
right.
head, and then I just go with the mid length. When it's very smaller, I prefer to serve the shorter ones still. In the past, I would take mid length for smaller days, and I would try to make it to work, pump down the line, and do turns. But since I discovered this board, the Davis Sky Skiff, it kind of covered now this
Thank you.
area, this condition. So yeah, don't have to
Yeah.
work.
I really would like, the only thing I would take a chance on, and I had to use one the other day that was like, I think it was like, I don't remember the size, but it was below 6 foot, and it was like this mini Simmons, it was all yellow.
Mhm.
And that's the only thing that I'll take a chance on, because I've seen a lot of people, and you as well, surfing them. The Arc Surfboards, your review for that, I was like,
Mhm.
I really want to try it, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid. But
You afraid?
maybe no, I'm afraid of putting the money and not liking it, and then having to sell it. Like, because the thing too for me, like when it's 1 to 2 foot, I just take this, and I feel like I have so much fun. Because I catch everything, and it's just like I just trim and go straight. But it's I don't know. Like after my experience with the seaside, I was like, maybe I shouldn't go smaller anymore.
Oh, oh,
Oh,
oh. No, honestly,
this is the
there's
ASIM. This is the ASIM. It's just like alive. Yeah.
The difference between that seaside and the mini Siemens, even from the Arc,
Yeah.
it's different
Night and
completely.
day. Yeah.
And I think I know what you're talking about, going down the line, trimming. You want to extend the length of your ride. If you're
Exactly.
looking for that, then for sure that 710 will definitely help you. But if you're looking for that turn, like a cutbacks on a smaller wave and a little bit more work, then you will be really impressed with the
Ah,
Arc. It's
damn
it's
it.
something you can bring two for a small day and have
True.
fun. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
how some people don't like it to go on a smaller day with a smaller board because they feel like they will not catch anything. But that's where the magic kicks in of the mini Siemens.
Yeah, and it's all about positioning. I find that it's all about positioning. It's funny because what changes for me when it's really small, I still like either go really big, or if I'm riding the mid length, they all work for me. But what changes more, if it's a bigger day, I'll get a board with a little more rocker, especially a nose rocker. Or if it's smaller, I'll just get my flat 15 here fish. It's a quad fish. So that's what changes for me. It's like a round nose, but yeah. Dude, next time we talk, I wanna, who knows when that's gonna be, but I would love to go over your quiver. So you can talk about what boards you have. And it could be a day where you have them with you, and like we can talk about it. But I think people would love to know what's in your quiver nowadays. And you can go over a little by little what you use. And maybe I can go over mine, and then we can like
Yeah,
trade
definitely.
cards.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a good episode. Definitely. Yeah, we definitely can talk a lot about the boards, and it's you talk about this something and then you switch to something else, and then there's always
It's
something
hard.
better or something that you want to try. And it's I think that's why we love surfing. It just it's never enough and you want more.
Awesome, dude. Dude, thank you so much. I will send you photos of that board as soon as I pick it up.
All right, sounds good.
All right,
Congrats.
enjoy your weekend. Catch some great waves, brother. I'll talk to
All
you
right,
soon.
will do. You too.
All right,
Okay, bye-bye.
awesome. Bye.